Hey guys, Zach Worley with Pensacola Seed and Garden. Glad you could join us. Pensacola Seed and Garden's been in business for 30 plus years. We got two great locations, the original one at 4915 Mobile Highway and the newer location, which we're going on, I think, our 7th spring now, at 6111 West 9 Mile Road. So, stop by and see us. For those of y'all that are new to the area, new to the show, we put out a show every couple weeks that me and Larry, we get on here and talk about things that are coming up, things that you're needing to look out for your yards, your lawns, flower beds, gardens, things like that. We're here to help you. We sell everything. We sell the fertilizers, we sell the plants, potting soils, things that you need for your lawn, seeds. We sell a little bit of everything. So, definitely stop by and see us. Both locations are open 7 days a week. Just depending on the day of the week, but typically 8 to 5 at this time of the year. So, the itch is starting to come. It's getting there. We're having these warm, sunny days. The last few days have been sunny. People are starting to get out, and we're starting to get newer plants. I literally just got these yesterday, the ferns and the geranium. So we're starting to get this stuff. Your stuff's coming in for your lawn. So we're going to kind of talk about what you need to be doing right now, what you need to be looking out for, and just kind of go over some things. So I always talk about the lawns first. We've had the last 3 weeks have been kind of hard on us. We had the extreme cold, I think about 3 weeks ago now, and then we've just had an abundance of rain. So things that you need to be looking out for in your lawn on doing is, as we're getting back in spring, check your sprinklers. You don't need your sprinklers really running right now. We're getting some rain. I think they're calling for rain coming tomorrow back again. We've had 3 or 4 days that we haven't had rain, and it's been sunny and pretty, and it's been 60s during the day and 40s at night, which is very pleasant. It wants people to get out and start working in the yard. So, but check your sprinkler system. We've had the freeze. A lot of times, most of your sprinkler systems have the backflow valves that are or preventers that are above the ground, and those freeze a lot. So, check that first. Don't wait till the last minute when we get into a drought like we did last year. Start with that. It's going to be getting close to fertilizing. We got in our weed and feed earlier in the week, so we're ready for our weed and feed. We've got the pre-emergent, here, let me point that way, the pre-emergent, and that's something you need to be doing now. You do it about 4 times a year, and what we've done at the nursery is me and Larry have got together and filled out a sheet that you can take home. We've got a bunch of them printed up to tell you at the times of the year when you need to be fertilizing, the times of the year that you need to be putting out the pre-emergent, what fertilizer to use, that's recommended. So there they go right there. They've got they've got 2 different pre-emergents right there, and I'll kind of go over those in a little bit in the show. But the yellow bag with the little pink flower on it that says turf, ornamental, and weed and grass stopper, the glare's on a little bit, but that one is for your lawns and your flower beds. I know I talk about it on the show, a lot, but for those of y'all that are, new to the show, this product right here, it contains dimension, and what that does is when a new seed starts to sprout in your lawn or your flower bed, it kills that little seed. It will not touch existing weeds that are growing right now. And I should have brought a bottle of that on, but that's a post-emergent. This is a pre-emergent. This is before the weeds get actively grow when you put this out. What that pre-emergent does, like I said, is it makes a coating. You spread it out over the entire lawn, the flower beds. Just don't put it around anything that you're going to be eating. Any fruit trees, vegetables, stuff like that. It's not made for a garden. So put that out, and when it gets watered in, it makes a chemical layer over the ground, and as the new seed sprouts, it kills that little baby seed. Like I said, it will not kill dollarweed that's existing growing, chickweed at this time of the year. If you didn't get any put out in the fall, if the plant's growing and it's got several leaves on it and it's up in size, it will not touch it. You need a post-emergent for that. So that one is for your lawns and your flower beds. Now keep in mind, This chemical lasts about 6 to 8 weeks. So you put it out in February, it's going to help control crabgrass, stuff like that, that pops up early. Your weeds that are your summer weeds usually start coming out in April or May when the heat kicks in. This chemical has faded out by then. It only lasts for so long. So you have to keep applying this. Your chamber bitter, your spurge, your summertime weeds, Virginia buttonweed, doveweed, this chemical will not be there at that time when those pop up if you put it out now to help control crabgrass. So you have to turn around and put it back down again in mid-April, late March, mid-April. So that's going to help control stuff from popping up. If you go out there, you put this chemical down today and you water it in, and 2 days from now you see, oh, there's a weed right there, I'm going to pull this weed up. When you pull that existing larger weed, dandelion, henpick, anything that's growing at this time of year, when you pull that weed up and you've put that chemical out over it, you break that chemical bond or layer that was made across the ground. So weeds can start growing back up in that hole where you pulled it out. The best thing to do is either pull the weeds first, then put that out, or come back with the post-emergent and spray them and kill them and don't touch them. Just let them die naturally. Because when you pull a weed out and after that's made that chemical layer going across, it breaks that bond or layer, and then weeds will just start growing right back. So when it gets wet, it just makes a layer going across the top of the ground that controls the baby seeds. The other product that's right next to it is a granular herbicide. This one contains Treflan. Treflan is safe to use in your vegetable gardens. So a lot of your farmers use the Treflan. There's certain things that you can plant the seeds, a corn seed, sprinkle that out over the top of it and it'll grow right through it. Your cubits, as in squash, cucumber, melon, you actually have to put that down first and then plant an actual plant. You cannot do a seed. So that one right there is a grass and weed preventative for your gardens. That contains Treflan. But you have to read the instructions. Some things you have to put a transplant in, or you can plant the seeds, with it. So you just make sure you read the labels on both of them. Any chemical, always just read the label and go by the instructions. More is not always better. Please don't do that, because we have people come back and they'll buy fertilizers from some of the box stores that are real high in nitrogen, and and they burn their yard and they come to us and say, hey, what happened? And they're like, well, I thought more would be better, to put the weed killer in. So, but more is not always better. We've got the Dimension in, we've got the Treflan for your gardens, when you start planting some of your gardens. So, all right, let's talk about some plants and stuff. So, like I said, we're getting in a bunch of stuff. We got in roses. We've got, I would say probably 30 or 40 varieties of roses. This one right here is Oklahoma, which is a red. I brought a yellow. I brought one. I don't know if we can get them to zoom in on this one in just a second. But this one is called Centennial, and it's a red and white bloom. So let's see if I can get it. There we go. You can see that one. Like I said, there's the Oklahoma. And we've got, at both locations, we've got these roses, and I want to say between the two of us, we've got close to 500 roses, and there's probably 30 or 40 colors that we have. We got climbing, we got the tea rose, the floribundin rose. There's probably even some bush, some landscape roses. We'll be getting in the drift roses, the knockouts, that stuff. All this stuff is starting to finally, starting to ship out. We get the roses in bare root and then pot them up in pots to keep them competitive versus them being grown and having to buy them from California and stuff. So fruit trees, we've got in some fruit trees. We've got in shade trees, bare root stuff. We've already got them potted up. So we buy bare root trees and sell them to you in the pots cheaper than we buy a tree that's already rooted out from an individual, because they buy them bare root, then they root them out and then turn around and sell them to us. So we kind of cut out the middleman, to help save some money. But peaches, plums, nectarines, blackberries, grapes. We'll have blueberries in next week. So, sorry, I forgot to turn my volume off on my phone. So, but anyway, so we will get blueberries in next week. But we've, like I said, we got persimmons, pecan trees. So, you know, check both locations. I have more out at the Beulah location on a lot of the fruit trees and stuff than Larry does at the mobile highway store. But we may have a couple different varieties for each, you know, store. So, you know, definitely stop by and see both of them. He orders for his store and I'll order for mine, you know, just different things, and that gives people a little bit of, you know, variance. Instead of both stores having the same thing, we order some different things. So, you know, with our fruit trees, they're all for this area. They are all for low chill hours, like on your peaches, plums, and stuff. You know, I've got some crab apples at the 9 Mile location. I don't know if Larry has crab apples, but I've got crab apples if you need some pollinators for some other apples or for the wildlife. You know, we get sawtooth oaks in for the wildlife, for the deer, stuff like that. But we got roses, we got fruit trees in. I got in a shipment, like I said yesterday, of some ferns, and I think just for right now I've got your four. I think I got 4 ferns. I've got the Boston, excuse me, the macho fern over here, and then I've got the Boston fern over here. The reason why they call it a macho fern, if you can see how big this branch is on my hand, it's humongous on here compared to the Boston fern. That in just a minute we'll show that one. But your Boston fern is your most common. These have been around for so long. But the Boston, you know, has a little droop to it. We do carry what they call a Kimberly fern or sword fern. I did get some of those in, but I just don't have them. I didn't bring them with me today. But this is a Boston fern, and you can see how much smaller it is. This one kind of droops down just as the macho fern does. But just for right now, you know, here it is February, you know, early part of February. I just brought in a few of them. I think I got in like 10 of the Boston, 10 of the macho. So one thing that we did get in that you know is good at this time of the year is geranium. So listen, they're telling me it's time to take a break, and stick around, and when we get back we'll finish talking about some of these plants that we got in.
At Pensacola Seed and Garden, we want to help you turn your lawn into an oasis. We sell tropical trees and palms, design and install backyard ponds, and we carry everything you need to make that pond a success. Koi, pumps, chemicals, lighting, and more. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or need professional help, we're here. Everyone needs a place they can get away to. Let us help you make your yard that oasis. Pensacola Seed and Garden.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, thing is, there's a lot more to say. Like if you've ever found yourself burning yard debris and then walking away, well, you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Hey guys, Zach with Pensacola Seed. Glad you could join us. If you've been watching the show, you know what we were kind of talking about before, some plants, stuff like that. For those of y'all that are just joining us, coming back from the commercial, we kind of talked about some fruit trees, stuff that we got in at the shop. We got in roses, we got in fruit trees, peaches, plums, pears, nectarines, pecans, grapes, blackberries, persimmons. So we've got all those at the shop. We've got a good selection at both shops. We will have blueberries. I think between the two stores we'll get probably close to between 500 and 600 blueberries over the next couple weeks, and we've got some coming in, I believe, next Tuesday, as long as weather permits, the guy getting them shipped down here to us. So all of our fruit trees are for this area. That's one thing that kind of gets a little hard at the box stores. You know, somebody in Montana's ordering for the nursery that's in, you know, in Florida. So just depending on where their corporate office is, but you know, we order fruit trees that are for this area, and what you have to look for on your fruit trees for this area is low chill hours. And with the chill hours, if you're not familiar with that, is temperatures below 40, and you have to have so many hours of below 40 to get your fruit to set. And so with that being said, you know, we're going to have a good year this year, hopefully, as long as we don't have droughts and stuff in the early spring or late spring, early summer. We've had plenty of cold, you know, even though we've only had some severe cold just a few days, we've had a lot of nights that are below 40, you know, and more consistent, where like last year, you know, we had some hard weather in December, but then January and February, we stayed warmer. And then we had the hard freeze in March, but you know, and before the commercial, I was kind of telling people to look out on the sprinklers and everything, getting ready for the upcoming spring. That's another thing. Don't let your guard down. It's only February 8th now, and you know, for instance, last year we had a hard, you know, it was 27 degrees, and that's not bad in March last year, but I think it was around March 20th we got down to 27, but January and February we were warmer than normal, so everything had started budding out, flushing was pretty, and we had more damage on plants in March than we did the December, because December most of the plants were dormant. So, you know, like I said, you don't let your guard down like that. Be on the lookout. If you get new plants and you put out in the yard over the next few weeks, you know, be prepared to protect them. I'm not saying don't put anything out in your yard. You know, we definitely want your yards to start looking good, but be on the lookout, you know, and one of the first plants that we always get in at this time of the year is the geraniums. I brought a couple different ones on. I got to figure out where I put them all, but, oh, here's the other one. So this is a regular geranium. This is a pink leaf. This is an ivy geranium, and it's a red one. Matter of fact, I just realized that the bloom had fell off and landed here, but, you know, I just ordered like 18 or 20 of the geraniums just to bring in a few things, you know, and as the weeks go on, we'll order more and more stuff. But both of these geraniums will go a long time. If they're protected well, they'll go all summer long. Most time, like, people will put them out in the yard, and they like the cooler weather. They don't like the cold, but they like the cooler weather, and they like it a little drier. The problem that we get with geraniums, is when we get into the hot summer, and typically when we have our rainy season, they'll get fungus on the leaves from staying too wet. I tell people to keep them in pots, whether you put them in a nice ceramic pot. For instance, like right here, if you put them in a nice ceramic pot, here's a Gerber daisy in here, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but put them in a nice decorative pot like this, and then when it starts getting hot and rainy, then move them onto a porch. You know, we will have them outside as long as we don't have a lot of rain. We'll have them outside until we start getting a lot of rain, and then we'll move them in the greenhouses so we can control the watering. That's the biggest problem we have with them at the nurseries, is if they're outside and we're just getting rain all the time, it'll get fungus on the leaves. So I tell people to put them in a pot and be able to move them around. So, you know, I was talking about things, this is getting off subject of plants, but getting in new products. We've just got a shipment for both locations of new pottery. We have a lot of the same, but then there's a little bit of some different ones that we've got, you know, at both locations. This one's got dolphins on it, and this one's got, looks like the leaves almost look like ZZ plant, and and we have pottery to come. We ordered another. This one was about a half an 18-wheeler load of pottery, and we've got another load that's supposed to be a full 18-wheeler coming any day now. And but we've got, like I said, some new items. We got the pottery and stuff, so stop by and see us. And we got some clay pottery, your typical terracotta pot. We've got some of that in probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we've got a good selection at both nurseries of terracotta if you're interested. So one thing that I got here that didn't talk about earlier with the vegetable gardens is, and that's what's going to be coming up soon. We're going to start getting our vegetables, and we still got a few weeks before we get them. But for cooler weather now, strawberry plants. We get these strawberries in bare root. We pot them up. I think we potted these up in November. And I mean, you can see like how much this guy right here, they're growing. So this one's got about an 18-inch long runner, and this will run over and start a new plant. And but they're really growing. And 2 days ago we got in another shipment of bare root, so we're potting those up. So we'll have plenty of strawberries for you. Most of these are all the everbearing, so they'll keep producing. And but now's a good time to plant strawberries. The farmers plant them in the fall, so they're nice and pretty and growing, and will be lush, for 1st of March. Start having strawberries, and that's what they have to worry about, is those late freezes like I was talking about, and protecting the fruit. So some of these had fruit on them, but I think some of the employees ate the fruit off. When they sit there too long, then we go ahead and get them. So. But some new things that came in. I don't believe Larry got them at his shop, but this is at my shop. Just some neat little things. Like I said, we got the pottery in. I got some for some of you gardeners that want to dress up the garden a little bit. We got in some little wooden stakes, and I think there's peppers, there's tomatoes. This is cucumbers, peas, and peaches. I mean, not peaches, spinach. They are wood, and what I would do is, get them home, pull off the stickers on the back like this, and then go to Home Depot and Lowe's and buy you some like polyurethane or something, a sealer in a can, just something, spray it on there so they'll last longer. And it's just a row identificator, in your little small gardens and everything. Just something neat, let the kids paint them if you wanted to. See how good they are, and if they can, trace the wording and then put a different paint on it. So, like I said, we got some of that. We've got some new wind chimes, stuff like that. I got a few minutes left in the show, so I did get some hanging baskets, some million bells. They like the cooler weather there again. When we get into the heat, they not struggle, but they have to be a little more delicate on taking care of. But million bells is in the family as petunias, so we do have a little bit of color for those of y'all that have been stuck in the house for the last 3 or 4 weeks with the weather. Get out and get some plants. So plants always make us happy. I think that was one reason why COVID was good for business, not good for the situation, but everybody, was stuck in the house for the first part of the spring, and then they started getting out because they wanted to work in the yard. They got tired of looking the 4 walls. So, we need to keep that going. We need everybody to stay happy. Like I said, we're open 7 days a week. We want you to stop by, and if you have problems with things, bring samples up. It is harder for somebody to call us up and say, hey, I've got a tree that the leaves are turning brown. Why is it turning brown? Bring some leaves in. Bring some good leaves. Bring some bad leaves. Your yard, when the grass starts growing again, and you have some damage in it, you're going to probably have some damage from the hard freeze, or with all the excess rain that we've had over the last few weeks, you may get a little fungus in it. Bring some samples up, I mentioned earlier that we got the weed and feed, and one thing I meant to talk about the weed and feed is, you don't apply the weed and feed until your yard's about 50% green. So your centipede lawns, your zoysias, they're all dormant right now. If you have St. Augustine, and you probably live down towards Gulf Breeze or Navarre or Pensacola Bay, you may have some St. Augustine that's actively growing, and so you could be putting out weed and feed on your St. Augustine in the next few weeks. So we've got the weed and feeds at both locations. We've got plenty of it. So, and as far as I know, the price is the same as last year. It hasn't gone up. There's been some things that have gone up, but like most of the fruit trees, the roses, the ferns, they're all the same price as last year. So we've been thankful for that. There was a couple fruit trees that went up, but I mean, not much, just I think a couple dollars. So, like I said, start looking at your lawns. Like we got a minute or two left on the show, but getting ready for your lawns. If you haven't done a soil sample, think about a soil sample to see what fertilizer your lawn needs. We have the basic, the 15015, the 1608, but you may take a soil sample and it says you need some lime. We sell the lime, the pelletized lime that's for the gardens, I mean for your lawns and stuff. So it may need something more than just your standard 15015 or your 1608. So think about soil samples. The extension service, we sell soil samples at the Beulah location. But you know, it's getting ready, and before you know it, it'll be here, and we're all excited to have it, because like I said, it's been rough the last month. So listen, they're telling me it's time to go, so we want you to stop by and see us. We're open 7 days a week at two great locations. Come by and see us, and we'll see you next time.